good afternoon. Good afternoon from wherever you are joining us. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for the edition Real Estate Today. And I want to beg you to call on your friends, your family, your colleagues, tell them that this webinar is already on and that they should join. And please, it's going to be an interesting session today. Let me give you an expo. Our speaker is a professor, so please tell them to come. It's not easy to meet a professor, right? So please tell them to come join us. Maybe they have forgotten. Please tell your friends to join us. And before we go into today's business, I'll try to give us some awareness or some information about Ubosele & Co. My name is Mojisola Ogunkoya, and I'm your host for this session. And so about Ubosele & Co. Ubosele & Co. is a estate surveyor and valuer firm, and we've been in business for going to 35 years. We've been in the business, and even maybe beyond Nigeria. And so today, we don't always do this, but I just want to give you a brief information about what we do and who we are. And also, I want to take us back from January. Maybe this is your first time of listening in or joining us for this webinar. I want to take us through all the topics even before we get to today's topic. So you will see that it's going to be an interesting day. So Ubosele & Co., like I said, is a firm of estate surveyor and valuer registered in Nigeria according to the rules and regulations of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyor and Valuer, NAIVS, and the Estate Surveyor and Valuers Registration Board, SVABON. And our mission as a company is to be a reference firm in the real estate consultancy sector in Nigeria and Africa through proactive and creative delivery of solutions to all our clients. And our vision is to develop a professional real estate consultancy practice run by a highly resourceful team who are committed to excellence, integrity, customer partnership, and professionalism in a way that is rewarding to all our stakeholders. And some of the things that we do in Ubosele is asset management, leasing and sales, property management, facility management, project management, mediation, and so on and so forth. So that's that as a brief about our company. And like I promised us, I want to take us through all the topics that we have enjoyed in the year. In January, the topic was the 2025 budget and the real estate sector. It was an interesting session with our partner, our principal partner, Mr. Emeka Ele. And in February, we talked about the economics of green building in Nigeria. And that one was taken by Dr. Teni Bade Odu. And in March, we talked about property management, the importance of title documents by Barrister Folarin Oloyede. And in April, we talked about the role of valuation in securing banks loan and risk assessment by Mr. Moses Adetayo. And in May, we talk about the property development and finance in Nigeria, unlocking capital and structuring sustainable projects by architect Samuel Baye. And in June, we talked about facility management from expense line to strategy value driver, and that was taken by Mr. Ikeku. And in July, we'll talk about how to prepare your house and property for sale and attract the most buyer. And that was taken by my humble self, Mojisola Ogunkoya. And in August, we talk about building wealth through the real estate and entrepreneur playbook. And it was taken by, we were privileged to have the FIABC Nigerian chapter president, Mr. Akin Opatola. And September last month, we talked about the art of property management, mastering tenant relation and maintenance. And that was taken by the CEO of Good Tenant, Mr. Adekunle Jinodu. And today, like I said, we're having a professor. So it's not easy to come by, to bring a professor to come and talk to us. So that is why this number is not yet encouraging. Please inform your friends. And today we are going to be talking about building trust in real estate, why ethics and professionalism matter now more than ever before. You know that we have an ever-growing economy and things are changing. Things are not the same. So the currency, the real currency of real estate is actually trust. And thank you very much for listening to this point. So before we go into our topic today, I'm going to introduce our speaker. Like I told you, that we have a professor. I didn't want to give you the expo of the name, but now we want to introduce him. I have the honor to introduce Professor Timothy Nubi. So I'm going to read a brief I'm going to read a profile of him, a brief profile of him. Please, if it can be on camera so that we can see his face. So, yes, Professor, yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I am privileged to read your profile. So we have Professor Timothy Nubi. Is a distinguished Nigeria expert in estate management and urban planning with a career spanning over 3 decades, 30 years. Wow. He has made significant contribution to real estate finance, property development, urban regeneration, and sustainable development. Professor Nubi academic credentials include an HND, yes, Higher National Diploma. It's very important to me because I'm always proud to be an HND holder. So, yes, when I see it, I'll just laughing that, yes, this is my person, you know. Yes, an HND in town planning from Yaba College of Technology, a bachelor in estate management and master in construction management from the University of Lagos, and a PhD, yes, in construction management from the University of Lagos. Professionally, he is a fellow of Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyor and Valuer. It's not easy to be a fellow, you know, and he holds a professorship at the University of Lagos, serving as the head of the Department of Estate Management and Dean of Faculty of Environment Science. He also has practical experience as assistant and zonal planning officer in Ajakuta Steel Township and Benden State, Nigeria. Professor Nubi research focuses on real estate finance, property and development, urban regeneration, and sustainable development. He has consulted for organizations like the World Bank and United Nations Development Program. As the founder and director of Center for Housing and Sustainable Development at UNILAG, he promotes housing and real estate development through research and capacity building. His Ideal Habits initiative aims to eliminate homelessness. Yes, very important. You know that so many people are homeless in Nigeria. And for some of us that even have the house, it's not the kind of house we want. We want a better one, you know, in Nigeria. So Professor Nubi has received notable awards, of course, including the University of Lagos Distinguished Research Award and the NICE Merit Award for outstanding contribution to the profession. It's not easy to be outstanding. So with all humility, I would like to welcome our speakers today. And like I said, please don't be in a hurry to go. Call your friend, phone a friend to join this program. And at the end, you will have the opportunity to not only ask a question, but speak to a professor, you know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mojisola Ogunkoya, for that generous introduction. Thank you so much. God bless you. Amen. I will welcome every one of us to this call. Funny enough, it's good morning from me, from where I am. We are leveraging on technology, which COVID forced on us, but it's eventually turned to be something good because under normal circumstances, I would have said, oh, because I'm away, I will not be able to do this thing. But because technology made it possible, you can do whatever you want to do wherever you are at whatever time of the day. So good morning from here, and greetings from my families that are here, and greetings to all of us that are gathered this morning. Ubosiele, thank you for all you do for the industry. You are proud of the founders of Ubosiele, together with their partner, most of their partners, There are people that I, as a person, I'm quite proud of. I'm quite proud of your practice. My first introduction to Bosiele, before I realized that they were alumni of University of Lagos, was a conversation with one of the giants in the industry many years back. And one of the giants said that day in this discussion, I was not bothered about most of these old practices. I mentioned their names. I don't want to mention them now. And he said, he said in our organization, we are concerned this competing, emerging competitor. And he mentioned Ubosiele. He said those guys are figure to really, the organization to really watch out for. This was a discussion about 20 years ago. And I want to thank God that they have kept it. And this contribution monthly is part of your gift to the nation, part of your gift to our society, part of your gift to our noble profession, a profession that is critical to the development of this country. If we fail, we fail. If our practice, if we should fail and refuse to do what is normal, we believe that the whole nation has failed. So let me quickly share my slides and dive into today's discussion. Yeah, thank you so much. I will say a lot of stories. Yes, I will share stories because I'm not using my laptop. Let me see. I'm not using my laptop. F5 for, let me see. Okay, it's not working. I want to put it on presentation mode. I want to put it on presentation mode. I want to put it on presentation mode so that we can see the presentation. Okay, just indulge me. Let me call. Yes. I hope you can see what I am sharing. I hope you can see it. Hello? Let me hear from you, please. Hello?
We can see it, sir, and we can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. But it's not coming as I want. In my computer, I know what to press to show presentation because I'm using someone else's computer. Okay, kindly indulge me. Let me call the person to help. Okay. Okay. Let me call the person to help. Prince, please come and help with this slideshow. It's not showing there. Sorry, it's a family meeting. Slideshow, it's not showing fully. You can show. I don't know how to put. Yeah, you can help. You can help. You can help to put it on slideshow. Yeah, I've shared. They've seen it. Okay. I want to put it on slideshow so that it will be bigger.
If it's going to be bigger, you will just like that. You just expand it.
No, so that I'll be showing slide by slide.
Okay, that's.
Is is not, like we demonstrated yesterday. I didn't see the slideshow.
That's where we can.
It has to go first. No, it doesn't need to go.
Yeah,
So sorry, this technology is not my computer. I'm not used to it. So sorry. So like I said, I will say a lot of stories today. The topic today is actually building trust in real estate. Why ethics and professionalism matters now more than ever. Yeah, that's actually our topic, and it's something that is very close. My first encounter with unethical practice was when I was in the Polytechnic several years back, about 35. When we say 1982, so we are saying about 40 years ago. Yeah, about 40 years ago. Slideshow. So about 40 years ago, I hope you are still seeing my slides. I want a response, please.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
We can see
great.
and we can hear you clearly.
It's now showing clearly, isn't it?
We can see you clearly. We can hear you clearly, sir.
And you can see my slides better than before.
Yes, it's better. We can just
Okay.
go with this.
Okay, thank you so much. So,
Yes,
like
sir.
I said earlier, my first encounter with unethical practice was many years ago. It happened to my lecturer. It manifested through my lecturer. An essay surveyor of repute in Abeokuta. I had my HND at Yaba College of Tech. I had my OND at Ogun State Polytechnic. We are the second set of Ogun State Polytechnic. Then a respected gentleman in Abeokuta, an essay surveyor. God has blessed him so much. God has blessed him so much that he had a building named after his company in a prominent location at Abeokuta. He has a street in GRA named after him. Very popular essay surveyor then in Ogun State. And God has really blessed him. But there was this unethical practice that consumed him. It consumed him. He sold a house for a man. He sold a house for a man, and he didn't remit the money on time. So the wife of the man died, and the people and the person that bought the house paid a visit to the man who they bought their property from. I'm getting to the man said, well, he had no need for the sale of that property. If they have paid, if he has sold, if the building was sold earlier, around February, that would have saved the wife's life. But this, where you paid for it in April. And the man and the people said, no, we paid as early as January. The man said, no, the money was given to me in April. And he said, the reason why I sold the property was because we wanted to use it to fly the wife who was sick abroad to take care. And the woman died. Because this man took the money, he did not remit, and the woman died. The institution did not take it easy. His license was withdrawn, and that was the end of his practice. It was as a student in the School of Real Estate, we were not too happy. We kept on questioning, why should a man that God has blessed be involved in such unethical? You see, as that unethical practice destroy the life of a woman and a family, in the same way, do we see unethical practices here and there destroying our nation. Destroying our nation. This that I said that happened many years back, about 30 years or 25 years ago or more, we now see it in bigger proportion that really brings a lot of concern to every one of us in this environment. But let us see. Oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh. God will help me today because the slide is not changing.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Do you have the slide on maybe on WhatsApp? If you can send it to us,
okay, so that you can
see what we can do from here. Why
you
you
can do it for me. Okay. Let me quickly do that.
Okay. So our audience who are sorry, please.
Please.
Don't be in a hurry to go, please.
Oh, sure. What's that be true, Nabi? Sure. Sure. Okay. Yes. No, what's what I tell you? Irọ́ kò dá ebi mi mọ̀ ń lílo ẹ̀. Oh, sure. It's not, let me send it to you as you say. I'm so sorry for this. I'm so sorry for this. I'm so sorry for this. It's not just changing. So it's not changing. It's not changing from slide to slide. It's not changing. It's not changing. No, it's not just. It should just. We demonstrated yesterday it worked, so I don't know why it's not working today. Yes, I've sent it to you.
Okay.
I've sent it to you.
Okay, sir.
No, because I actually still need it. I should be able to. You should be able to just change from one slide to another. No, it's a complicated system. So. No, they want to share from there. So let's see if that will help.
Please, sir, you can just continue the discussion while we set up the slide for you.
Okay, so you know, most of the discussion is based on the slides, but no problem. The first slide is really looking at the entire economy of the world. One thing, like I said, as the failure or unethical practice of one person, the unethical practice of one person as it affects that family, like I said earlier, the unethical practice of many valuers today is hurting and killing the economy. as we see that real estate, okay, is it showing? No. Okay, it's not, okay. Okay, okay. So the real estate, are they hearing me? I don't know. Okay. Oh, God. I don't know if we are even
I
out.
can hear you. Just continue, sir. We are
Okay.
to share the slide. Just continue talking.
Okay. Okay, you want to share the slide from there?
Yes, we are making arrangement to do that for you, but you can just start continue talking before we are ready.
Okay, okay. We are also working on it to sort it out here. Let's see. So the economy of the world, one thing we must realize, those of us that are on call already, one thing I kept on emphasizing in the recent time is the economy of the nation. The nation economy today is the world economy divides between real estate, and 71%. 71% of global economy today is resides in real estate. Yes, 71%, out of which 51% is in residential real estate. 51% is in residential real estate. So, what are we saying? When we talk about the development of any nation, it's about real estate. The remaining 29% is what we call the communication, the oil and gas, the consultancy world. But the bulk of the wealth of any nation resides in real estate. And the inability of subsequent governments in our country to recognize the nexus between real estate and national development is what is putting us where we are today. It's what is putting us where we are today. Because once we don't put emphasis, once we don't pay attention to what is going on in the real estate world, then we're in trouble. We'll be in trouble. Is it changing? Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Are you good?
Okay. No, don't. We've sorted it out here.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I think you can see my slide now.
Yes, it's much better,
Okay.
sir. You can see.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, I'm so sorry for this morning. I'm so sorry. No problem. Yeah. So, we see real estate. We see real estate as is total value of real estate compared to public company. When you look at America as an economy, 40 trillion is public company. Real estate, residential real estate alone is 43.5 trillion. And that's the pattern. Real estate over the years enhanced economic development in nations like Brazil, Taiwan, and all the rest. In Nigeria, most of the developed nations, real estate constitutes 18 to 20% of the GDP. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, it constitutes only 5% of the GDP. So, despite our huge population of 200 million, we found out that we still depend on crude oil for our GDP, which constitutes about 70% of the GDP. Whereas if we pay attention to real estate, we will have job creation, infrastructure development, urbanization and modernization, revenue generation, huge one, foreign direct investment, tourism and hospitality, affordable housing, social development, wealth creation, asset appreciation, small and middle industry, emergence of small and middle industry, economic diversification. These are things, and these are the problems that are plaguing our nations today. Unemployment, poverty. Those are the problems that are plaguing our nations today, which has solution to all these reside in real estate. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that our economy as a nation, the only feasible way out of the career that we have found ourselves as a nation today, the low-hanging fruit resides in real estate. And we are the custodian, we are the managers of these land assets. We are the custodian of the land assets. And one thing we must know is that the elephant in the room, which is the population, by 2050, Nigerian population will be about 400 million. Lagos population will be about 50 million. 2050 is just 24 years ahead of us. And the more reason we have to pay attention, because one of the problems that we have in the sector is this unethical practices. Challenge of credibility. We have the challenge of credibility today in the real estate industry. Rising incidents of fraud and scam in a dimension that we listen to every day. You know, in a dimension that we listen to, and unfortunately, when we record this scam, all they say is essence of your, estate agent to essence of your. People believe that those of us in real estate practitioner, we are the agent. Whereas we have, when we eventually look at this Lagos State Vanguard News, Lagos raises alarm over fake estate agents, one public against fraudulent housing offer. What is it? When you introduce yourself to anyone today, oh, you are the estate agent. You are the people that were defaulting. So a lot of things beyond what we are doing within our profession, we need to really do more. Globally, online property scam, fake listing, locally in Nigeria and similar case study, we have multiple buyers, we have fake land title, fraudulent middlemen, exploit weak verification system, and desperate buyers. So we have all these challenges. Misinformation and lack of transparency. Many agents and developers exaggerate property features, misstate location, hide structural issue, inaccurate and incomplete property information erodes confidence in listing and discourage genuine investment. Globally, we are seen as opaque. So an investor came from overseas last year, we were discussing. He asked a simple question. He said, why is this market, the real estate market, why is it so opaque? The only what he's saying is that, what he's saying is that, why is our market janga janga? No transparency. There's nowhere you can run to get good information. There's nowhere you can run to get good information. Unregulated or poorly regulated agent, low entry barrier into real estate in many countries allow unqualified individuals to act as agent. This quack operates without professional training, oversight, and accountability, leading to unethical practices, weak enforcement of real estate law. These are what we are contending with in our nation today. That's why I'm saying that this regulation that we are talking about of our professional body, the regulation goes beyond the members. How do we influence those that not our members that were involved in this? How do we bring them on board so that we can regulate their practice? These are issues that cause for concern and a lot of interrogation in the coming weeks or months. There are things that are poor service delivery and professional misconduct. These are challenges of credibility that we're talking about that is really making the topic of today very, very important for us. Many clients complain of poor service delivery in facilities management, unresponsiveness, and lack of due diligence. Developers sometimes abandon projects or deliver substandard housing units. Globally, even licensed professionals face scrutiny for prioritizing commission over clients' interest. So we see, because of all these practices, we see a lot of issues emerging from these unethical practices. We see increase in slum formation across the country, attesting to these unethical practices. We see demolition. Most of these houses that were demolished, one time or the one, if you investigate, you see professionals involved at one point or the other. Professionals involved in the transaction of all these projects that are facing massive demolition across the country. We see in the country today, it's still fresh in our heart, the collapse of the 21-story building, the 360-degree tower at Fort Gerard, developed by Foursquare Homes Limited. Building was under construction as a luxury development. Professionals were involved. But there were evidences of sharp practices, unethical practices that claimed the life of 45 people, including the promoter. So these are the evil of sharp practices. Development estate. A few weeks ago, Lagos State government has identified 176 illegal estates. 176 illegal estates. These estates were located in areas like Etiosa, Ajah, Ibeduleki, Epe, and were deemed illegal for failing to obtain necessary layout approval. When you interrogate, you find that half of this estate, at one point or the other, we see our professional colleagues, either assessors, surveyors, or planners, or builders, they play one role or the other in the development of these estates. And they were aware of the fact that these estates have no necessary documents. You wonder how someone would buy a house that at Okota that the value is about 300 million, built on canal, built on water canal or channels and had no approval. And there was transaction. People sold, people bought, people sold. And when you investigate, you see professionals involved in these transactions. So we have cases of decline in public trust. Public perception of real estate industry has weakened due to repeated scandals and unfulfilled promises. From the news you see here, you see real estate fraud rent hike dominate top 5 consumer complaint in Lagos. That's Guardian newspaper. So we see when we say that the issue of real estate, the trust and ethics must be interrogated, then we all agree that this is apt for the time. The topic of today is very apt for the time that we are in. So, what is trust? Trust is a firm belief or confidence in the reliability, and integrity, ability, or truth of someone or something. A real estate professional practice. Trust in real estate professional practice, trust refers to the confidence client, investor, and other stakeholders have in the honesty, integrity, competence, and reliability of real estate. Professionals such as agents, valuers, developers, and facility managers to act in their best interest and uphold ethical standards. Trust is built when real estate professionals, one, are honest in all dealings. That is, providing accurate property information. Avoid conflict of interest and disclose them when they occur. Uphold confidentiality of clients, personal and financial information. Comply with laws, codes of conduct, and professional regulation, e.g., the knives rules, Esfabon rules, and other regulatory bodies. Let us look at common unethical practices damaging trust. One, providing false or misleading information about a property condition, value, location, or legal status. I remember a cooperative in University of Lagos were complaining early in the year that the executive sold to them land that they called Korodu. They sold it to them as Korodu land. And by the time they visited the place, it was almost close to Ijebu-Ode, even after Agbowa. But they took money. They designed flyer. And called it Korodu. And people rushed it, collected money from them, only to take them to a place that is when you enter the forest, you will have gotten to Ijebu-Ode before you get to the forest. These are unethical practices. Withholding material fact that could influence a client's decision. Overstating expected return or concealing defects. These are unethical practices. Representing both buyers and sellers without full disclosure. Buying a property secretly for personal benefit when hired to sell it. Collecting extra payment from tenants without the landlord's knowledge. Forging documents such as deed, receipt, and valuation reports. Selling non-existent or already sold properties. Using fake property titles to deceive buyers. Offering or accepting bribes to secure contract, listing, or government approvals. Manipulating valuation reports to satisfy a client or lender. Non-compliance with EFCC regulation on anti-laundering, etc. Because of time, we will not be able to look at each of them, but they were loaded. And these are common things we see every day in the practice today. Every day in the practice today. client influence on property value. I remember a bank gave us instruction to sell some of their properties that there was default on the loan they gave. Oh God, I was frightened that year, about 10, 15 years ago. A shop at Ogba, someone took a loan of 70 million from this bank using 2 shops at Ogba near Waec as collateral. And their valuation report that put the value of those shops at 70 million. We went around those properties. We found out that all were exaggerated in the valuation report that they used to secure the loan. And this kills the nation's economy. The bank could not sell any of these properties. The market value years after they have taken the loan was far, they were far lower than the loan that they used them to obtain. Many issues that are killing the country. It is one of the major branches of philosophy. In fact, ethics is referred to as moral philosophy. Focus on it is study of right and wrong and how people ought to act. The key question is, what is the right thing to do? Ethics is crucial in any professional discipline. Ethics is crucial in any professional discipline because it guides behavior, ensure trust, promote accountability, and uphold the integrity of a profession. You see, the trust is a currency. Trust is a currency. Any nation that lacks trust, where any society where there is trust deficit, that nation cannot progress. That nation cannot make progress. And that's what we are suffering in Nigeria today. And Nigeria is not just an abstract. It's our cumulative action that leads to this distrust between government and the people. Government saying they will do this and they will do something different. That they want to do regeneration of Iwaya, of Ilaje, things that will really benefit the citizen. But the citizen, because of lack of trust in government, that they never deliver on their promise, they will say, no, we don't want you to come and redevelop this place. We don't want urban regeneration. We don't want you to do what you did at Morocco to us. So Makoko is there today, Iwaya is there today as slum. People resisting development because they don't have trust. So once there is lack of trust in any nation, in any industry, there can never be progress. There can never be progress. So let's keep running. Ethics, why ethics is important? It builds credibility, ensure accountability and responsibility, protect stakeholder, enhance professional reputation, upholding ethics standard, elevate the reputation of the profession and individual professionals. It attracts clients, investors, and collaborators who value integrity and professionalism. You see, one thing I want to say at this point is that no one will come and invest in a nation where there is no high ethical standard, where the practice of the market is regarded as opaque. They will not come and invest in such economy. They will not come and invest in such economy. And that's why we don't have foreign investor as we have in some nation. People talk about Rwanda. What's the population of Rwanda? People talk about Dubai today. Why are people putting their money there? And unfortunately for us, we can't develop our nation. We can't develop the real estate industry all by ourselves. We need foreign funding. We need foreign funding because the fund that real estate required to blossom in any nation, most cases cannot come within that country. Look at what's going on in Eco Atlantic today. Is it money from this nation alone that is being spent there? No. No. And we will have gotten several Eco Atlantic first stack multiplied if the trust deficit is there, is not there. So we are looking at case studies of fraud evaluation. Valuers inflated the value of property to help clients secure larger loans from bank. Ethical valuation, fraudulent property appraiser, misleading financial institution, compromised professional integrity, implication, legal consequence, risk to financial system stability. We see this in German. The German bank lost 5 to 7 billion, which is $3 to $5 billion at a time due to collapse of Schilder Property Group, underpinned by poor valuation, loss of investors' confidence. You see, when Nigeria wanted to privatize, we saw cases like this, where a big company, a big real estate firm was indicted for undervaluing the Nitel property because they wanted to sell this ship. This giant company that we were looking up to connived to undervalue Nitel property. Then it was in the news. Then this led to almost collapse of the financial stability of a whole nation. $3.4 billion lost because of overvaluation. And this is what we see in practice, not only in Nigeria. What we are talking about, not only in Nigeria, we see projects because of ethical valuation. Lekki building collapse, developer continued construction despite stop work order. Ethical valuation, substandard materials and poorly workmanship suspected. There were reports of bribery to avoid regulatory enforcement. These are unethical practices that are costing us a lot of money across the world. In Bangladesh also, we have case studies of Bangladesh where many people lost their lives because of unethical practice, as we see in this slide. Collapse of Carrying PLC. It's also happened in 2018. £7 billion was lost. The company was a major UK-based multinational facility management and construction service company that entered compulsory liquidation in January 2018 by debt of over $7 billion. The collapse had widespread effect on public services, thousands of jobs, multiple sectors relying on outsourcing FM contracts. You see, the whole nation will be brought to its nail because of unethical practices. So there are things, ethical valuation, misrepresentation of financial health of the organization was one of those things that were. There was a time that we also faced this ethical violation when one of the big chief executives in Cadbury then, when they overvalued their share just to make the company look good. It was in the news. And our generation were really disappointed in that chief executive because a company that was not doing well, the packages are doing well, and people kept on investing. That is what valuation, overvaluation, and undervaluation can really do to nation's economy. And we are the valuers. We are the valuer. We are the one that are licensed to put value. And whatever value we tell this financial world is what they will accept from us. Once they don't have confidence in our valuation, that's why you see them patronizing foreign valuers. So, how do we promote ethical standard in real estate practice? McGraw and Powell institutional theory of promoting ethical standard in real estate practice, the role of isomorphic pressure. And let me just go to isomorphic pressure. The theory argues that organizations within a field tend to become increasingly similar or isomorphic over time as a response to external internal pressure for legitimacy and acceptance. In the context of real estate practice, This asymmetric pressure encourages firms and professionals to adopt ethical standards and professional conduct that are widely accepted in the industry. We have three types of asymmetric pressure: the coercive pressure, the normative pressure, and the normative pressure. So let's look at what is coercive pressure. These are pressure that come from laws. How do we ensure ethical practice? Yeah, through law. Coercive exhumanism. These are pressures that comes from laws, government policy, and powerful stakeholder compelling organizations to conform to specific form. Regulatory bodies like ESFABON, COBON impose code of ethics, and it must be seen. It must be seen not only to have this code of practice in law, in books. We must not be toothless bulldog. There must not be big professional among us that is above law. Compliance and anti-fraud laws. These are property registration process and client protection framework force firms to maintain ethical practices. Once there are consequences, what you see increase in these unethical practices because there are no consequences for unethical practices in the country today. Normative asymmetry, professional and educational pressure. This pressure arises from professional standard, shared value, education within a field. Professional association and accreditation body promote codes of ethics and continuous professional development. We must not underplay it. Before every firm is re-registered every year, there must be evidence of CPD points gained. This is where ethical practice were reinforced every year. People got trained to adhere to ethical practice, ethical values and enforcement through training, mentorship, peer influence among practitioners and new entrants into professionals and through exams that we do. So in our professional practice and in registration and re-registration, renewal of registration, and bringing in people, one of the emphasis today must be on this. Whatever exam we do, we must lay emphasis on ethical practices within the profession. Mimetic, asymmetric, imitative pressure. Mimetic, asymmetric, imitative pressure. When faced with uncertainty, organizations tend to imitate successful and legitimate. And I'm saying that's why I give it to Bossiele and Co. That we thank God that one of the firms that we can look for ethical practices. We thank God that you're one of them. And such organizations that other professionals will look up to, they were called they are sharks. They are sharks in the industry. The role of sharks in promoting credit standard. Without sharks, there will be no fish in the ocean. That is the truth. Without sharks, there will be no fish in the ocean. The role of sharks in promoting sharks are ethical market leaders. Sharks are prominent, successful organizations or individuals that set the tone for how business should be conducted. These ethical sharks demonstrate integrity, transparency, professionalism, and still achieve commercial success. The fishes are followers in professional ecosystem. The ocean as a real estate market environment. The ocean symbolizes the real estate ecosystem, a complex space where both ethical and unethical actors coexist. Without feasible ethical leaders like the sharks, the market may become chaotic and filled with unregulated, unethical actors, fishes behaving without guidance. So that's why I will keep on appreciating the role of Bossiele and one or two other companies that I will not be able to measure that are playing the role of sharks. People are looking on to you. Keep on doing the good things you are doing. Many people want to emulate good practices, but there is no. I want to quickly talk about share a story. I'm rounding up. I want to quickly share a story. You see, recently, one of the Deeper Life churches were demolished in a part of Lagos. And it went The news went viral. The man went to the pastor of Deeper Life, took all their papers, took it to the governor, and they were saying, we are sorry. We are sorry. If you remember very well, that church was demolished around Abule Ijesha, around Ijesha, Lansing area. Was demolished overnight by the local government. And they packed everything there as if the church never existed. And the man went to the governor, reported the case to the governor, went with all their papers. And they said, what do you want us to do? He said, they should go and build the church back. Put everything they destroyed back there. He was not asking for compensation. They go and build the church back, put everything you destroyed, restore them back. What happened that weekend? I am also a pastor of another church. My church is Upper Room Baptist Church. So pastors met, and one of the pastors were praying, God, help us to be big, that one day we'll be big, that what happened to that Deeper Life church, if it has happened to a smaller church, that church is gone forever. I laughed. I said, it was not because the church was big. The church has a testimony that they will never build anything without getting all their papers. Compliance. Compliance. If the church is big and they don't comply, there is no ethical practice, they will destroy and the church will be put to shame. And that tells us about compliance. And I was sharing this with one of the giants in the industry, former commissioner in Ogun State. The woman told me, actually, Jumoke, I came with me. She told me, she said, when she was commissioner of housing in Ogun State, that his governor happened to be, her governor happened to be a Muslim. But each time that there was a time Baba Kumuyi came, that the kind of honor that the governor gave, despite the fact that he was a Muslim, and after the man left, the governor said, see this man, he will never do anything without getting approval or getting his papers right. That was a testimony of a Muslim governor about a person. And as this church maintain high level of compliance and ethical practice, that is what is expected from every organization. That is what is expected from every one of us, to uphold high ethical standard and compliance. That is the only thing that can help us as a country. Unfortunately, we have deficit of role model. And that's why, as many of us that are hearing me this morning, that joined this call, let us make ourselves the sharks. The sharks are ethical market leaders. We are ethical market leaders. Let us embrace sharks maintain balance and discipline in the ocean. Without them, smaller fishes will multiply uncontrollably and destroy the ecosystem. So let us be the sharks. Let us be the role model. In this fight, it will just start and everybody will fall in line. But when role of sharks in promoting ethical standard, when facing uncertainty or competition, organization imitate successful peers to gain legitimacy. Others copy these behaviors, believing that ethical conduct leads to trust, reputation, and profitability. So be a shark. Be a shark. Be a shark. Let us uphold high standard. Sharks in real estate practice promote the diffusion of best practices across the industry. When somebody mention our company, when somebody mention our firm, oh, let's say that firm, we can't do sharp practice with them. They are thorough, they uphold high standard, encouraging self-regulation through imitation of trusted role model. So my message to every one of us today is that sharks are important in building ethical ecosystem for real estate practice. I think I see I have 1 or 2 slides. What is the way forward? Okay, I haven't said about the mess. Sincerely speaking, the real estate industry is in a big mess. I mean, overseas now, you tell your people, oh, they want to buy. What you hear from most of them is that, oh, we want to buy properties at home, but we are afraid. We are afraid. Some that bought their own 10 years ago, we our friends, their buildings were demolished. 20 years, they say that what they thought they've gotten, they've not really gotten it. How do we really invest? So these are problems that we are facing now. A lot of demolition is going on across the country because of the failure of one professional. We are the professionals in the ministry. We are the builders, we are the estate surveyors, we are the architects in the ministry that are approving this and also authorizing Caterpillar to go and destroy. There was a viral video recently that showed an estate where they are carrying out demolition, and a young man went out of the front of the estate and showed the planning office and said, how can these people say that they were not aware of this construction going on? It's a big question for us. But when you look at those who are working in that office, we have town planner, we have a surveyor, we have builders. It's our colleagues that are approving. It's our colleagues that are submitting approval to them, these things to them for approval. So it's we that have to talk to ourselves. Those of us that are practicing, those of us that are in academia, those of us that are in the ministry. We are. The problem of this nation is upon the professional. The professional. If we are the elite, our failure is what is causing this problem for our nation. So the way forward is compliance with building regulation. Let anybody that we are involved in getting property for, or building or buying property for, let the person go and sleep. Let the person know that this property you are getting from us, your children can inherit it. Not that somebody will come with bulldozer and demolish it and trace unethical practice at one point or the other. Adhere to professional standard, imitate global best practices. This is the way it's being done all over the world. Ethical practices are low among real estate professionals in Nigeria, leading to opaque market, loss of trust, investors, and all the rest. We see all this in the news every day. What are the ways out of these ethical challenges? One, strengthen regulatory framework, enhance laws and enforcement to prevent fraud and ensure compliance with building codes and standards. Promote transparency, encourage open communication and clear documentation among trial transactions. Professional certification, develop comprehensive database of certified real estate agents to prevent fake agents. I am believing that the real estate agent, they call them realtor, they call them, there must be a way that our association must be able to bring them so that we can regulate their practice, because their scams and unethical practices is robbing on us, is destroying us as professionals. Education and training, offer programs to enhance professional skills and knowledge on ethics and best practices. Industry collaboration, foster cooperation among stakeholders and those that are involved in built environment. Key organization, SVABON, Nigerian Association, Real Estate Agent, promote professionalism and ethics, Real Estate Development Association, Nigeria. These are the people we have to really work with to really solve our problem. Lastly, I want to end with this quotation of Albert Einstein. To strive in these times, there is an urgent need to change some of our dormant assumptions to see different outcomes, because we cannot be doing the same thing the same way and be expecting different results. I want to thank you for listening to me. I believe I've spent more than the time that is allotted because of the problem we encounter at the beginning of this presentation. But I eventually have to talk fast on the course of doing that. you might have lost some of the things, but the slides will be left for us to go over again and again. Thank you so much for having me again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much for, we're just saying here that you really came prepared for the professionals. We need to continue to do the right thing. And there is a lot of learning in here. So I expect that we're going to have questions. So, or if you want to make contribution, so you can either use the Q&A or you do the chat room. Or if you want to talk, please, you can virtually raise up your hand and you'll be allowed to talk. While I just go over the things that, some of the things that I wrote there, because I've actually written a lot and I also have questions. So, but I don't want my own question to overshadow you as our participants. So I want to give you the priority. Please prepare your question, and if you would like to talk, please do a virtual raise of hand. You talked about real estate and the economic development, the Nigerian real estate, what it looks like. You also talk about the challenges of credibility, especially where we have this scammer both locally and globally. And you talk about actually what trust is and why ethical practices is very, very important. And I also think that the stories that you shared are really so practical and important point of learning, because talking about the first person, I was looking at it that when we put all the stories together, everybody needs to change, because it wasn't just about the professionals, even about individuals, and then you talked about an agent who have, a professional agent, let me say that, who have sold a house and then refuse to disburse the money or to give the owner of the house the money, and we can see the effects, not just on one person, but they assume that that was what caused the death of a loved one. That can be very, very challenging. And also the second example, or the second story you shared, was about the valuation of a property, that it was not just an individual, but it has to do with the nation. And the last story is about someone who says that I am not going to do it the wrong way, but I will continue to do the right thing. Where when you made mention, share the story of the Deeper Life and how their place was demolished and so on. So this is an encouragement to all of us as professionals, either you're an investor, you're estate surveyor and valuer, or a lawyer, wherever or whatever profession that you belong, we need to do the right thing. So I don't know if we have questions already. Let me check the chat box. Because I was even thinking that the professor don't need to say he was sorry, because a professor cannot be talking to you and you're looking at time. You know that it's a lot of learning, so you just have to.
There is time allocated for everything.
So thank you so much for our participants for still being around. But please, I want to check, do we have anyone with question? Okay, we have someone with question. So from the back end, can we allow them to ask their question? I'm trying to get to where they are. I saw a. Okay, so Victoria Lawal is an associate. Please, from the back end, can we allow her or him? Because this is a company. So. Please, from the back end, someone want to ask a question, please. So if we have other questions, so while we wait for her, let me ask one of the questions that I put down here. So one of the questions that I also have is how has poverty and because when you were talking, you talk about trust deficit, how the government will promise and then they will not fulfill the promise to people. And you even made mention of Makoko Iwaya, where we're supposed to have, better development going on, but because they don't trust the government. So, and then the multiplier effect, when we talk about, when we have the quacks. So my question is now, how has poverty and the lack of trust from the government contribute to, the unethical behavior or the unethical practices that we see in real estate today? I don't know if my question is clear, sir.
Yeah, it's the truth is that can you hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yes, very well.
The truth, I love my vice chancellor, Professor Ogushola. She said, she often said that you don't steal because you are poor, you steal because you are a thief. So you don't steal because you are poor, you steal because you are a thief. Look at the first person I painted. We saw him as a star in Abeokuta then, and we benchmarked him as someone, as a role model, as someone that we look, we say, when we also finish school, we'll be like him. He has a house in a prominent location, on a major highway at Ibarra, close to governor's office. Everybody, he was known in the city, a street named after him, Abeokuta GRA. This man took money that somebody sold his house to take care of the wife, and he did not remit. Put it in fixed deposit. The culture of fixed deposit that time, that when you have 5 million, quickly put in 3 months fixed deposit, make some money before you remit. He didn't know that the person was to sell the property out of necessity to take care of a need, to actually fly the wife to India for treatment. And the woman died. So it's not poverty that made him to behave unethically. It's because he behaved that way because he's a thief. He behaved that way because he's a thief. So most of these things, they are not really poverty issue, because most of these sharp practices, we see what the experience of People's Bank under Tai Sholari that time taught us was that the poor people, they repay back loan. It's the rich people that don't repay back their loans. The poor people, they pay back their loan. They collect a job from their cooperatives and they pay it back. It's the poor, it's the rich person, it's the elite. These unethical practices is among us. The trust deficit is among the elites and the professionals. When you see go down the street, when you see go down the community, you see trust. You see trust in the villages. Down in the community, they trust themselves. They give themselves products, food on credit. And they said, I'll pay you when I collect my salary, and they pay back. This culture of not paying back, this culture of sharp practices is not poverty induced. But though there are different types of poverty, the property of the mind, the property of the soul, the property of the spirit. The person is not poor monetarily, but is poor in the spirit, thinking that money is everything. And it's worse in this generation. That's why we have to really address this issue. It's in a generation, we are in a generation, this Gen Z, the surveyors that are upcoming, the millennial and the Gen Z, they don't respect ethics. They want to retire at the age of 30. I don't know why somebody should be working towards retirement at the age of 30 and say, I must make it before the age of 30 because I want to retire at the age of 30. I was told who said that, well, I'm really looking for a job. The only thing I'm surviving on now is writing projects for students. I said, come again. He said he was writing student for projects, so project for students. He just left school, waiting for NYC. But he's writing project for those that see there. And the way he told me, he did not see anything wrong in it. And that is every sphere of life. This generation, no respect for ethics, no respect for standard, no respect for rules and regulation. They want to get it, they want to get it. They don't care who is hurt, they don't care who is armed. And that's why we kept on seeing this Yahoo Plus, Yahoo Extra, Yahoo this and that. So that's why this is so apt at this time, that the coming generation, the way they see life is quite different from the way you and I see life. And they are desperate, they don't respect ethics, and this nation will collapse if we don't embrace ethical practices.
Thank you so much, sir. Before I ask the next question, I want to know if we have other questions. I can't see any other question, but can we allow Victoria Lawal, Issa and Associate to talk, please, from the back end.
He can type his question if
Yes. Please, you can type your question if you cannot speak to us. So, sir, let me pick you up from where you stopped. You talk about this generation that don't care about anything and they want to retire at 30. They do plus, they do minus, they do all manner of things. So how can the society create more awareness, or do I really want to say create awareness? How can we solve this problem? What is our responsibility as professionals?
Yeah, that's why we brought these slides, about 5 slides on the shark. So on the shark, you see, unfortunately, we have deficit of sharks among us. So people, what the role models of these children today are they are so-called Nollywood celebrities. So these are the people they look onto. These are the people they look onto. There is less mention, little or no mention of professionals that are doing good things. They were less celebrated. They were not celebrated. So and every society, they must, every generation always have someone to look up. That's why I am pleading that we must consciously make our organization the sharks. Because without the sharks, the fishes in the ocean, they will soon consume themselves. They will soon consume themselves. So we have to make ourselves the role model. We have to go out. You see, mentorship program is so strong in overseas universities. By the time you are leaving school, you have mentors. You have professionals. So that's why most of our professionals, they must not be too far from the universities where we are breeding the coming generation. They must not be too far. And the university itself must design a robust mentorship program whereby when we send these people for IT, which they have opportunity to do for about 3 or 4 months before they leave school, let those organizations where we send them to, let them be the shark organizations that will remold their life and tell them that, look, we are a reputable company. We've been alive now for 3 decades. We are doing well, but we didn't start big. We started small and we grew to what we are. So when you are patient and you do things ethically, you definitely remain in business. This money that you are looking for will eventually come and you have peace of mind.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have a question here from Adedoyin Sheun. He said, thank you, Prof, for the insightful lecture. However, the activities of the quack has really rubbed off the image of the profession. What practical step do you suggest the profession can take?
Yes, many years back, I'm saying precisely 1994, 1995. Immediately, I was employed into the service of University of Lagos. I crossed from Yaba College of Tech, where I was a lecturer 1987 to 1994. When we moved to University of Lagos, we thought of this thing. I thought of this thing, that this quack must be trained. And we organized a course at Unilag Consult then with the SS of Yomona Yajo, that this quack should be trained. You see, when we train them, when we bring them within our, they call themselves realtor, they call themselves whatever. Let us bring them closer. And I will tell you why we need to do this. You can't control those that are not under you. We must give, especially in this country, the way we are now, there must be a desire to bring them closer to us so that we can regulate their activities. We must do that. And I believe that they are also willing. Since we have student membership, we have corporate member, we have fellow, we have this and that. This one, can also form another layer. I'll tell you why that is important. A farmer went to the farm. A farmer went to buy seedling, a processed seedling. And he cultivated 5 acres of land. And the sellers of the seedling, of the seeds, told him that you need just 5 grams for that 5 acres of land. And the man said, okay, sell to me 20 grams. The seed seller said, look, you don't need 10 grams for just 5. Because if you plant this thing too close, they will not do well. The man said, no, he's not planning to plant something. He's not planning to plant all the seed on his farm that he wanted to give his neighbor. The seller now said, why should you spend your money to give seed to your neighbor? Let them come and buy. He said, the wisdom in it is that if I plant my good seed and they plant the bad seed, since I cannot control cross-pollination, eventually their bad seed will cross-pollinate with my good seed, and I'll have poor product. Why can't I buy for them? Those are around me. Let us all know that we planted good seed so that I can have full yield. There's wisdom in that. That by taking care of our neighbors, Yoruba captured it very well. He said, if your housemate is eating bad kola nut and you refuse to warn, he said, all of you will not sleep at night. That's what is happening now. The quacks in different form, be lawyers, be whoever, no matter the university you attend, no matter the PhD you have, once you are not an essence of your practicing as essence of your an essence, you are a quack. So how do we bring them? It's a debate, it's a discussion that it's a problem that is there. And their practices is rubbing on us. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do to bring them, to embrace them and clean them up? It might look difficult, but that, I believe, is the way to go.
Thank you so much, sir. That was elaborate. So we have another question from Alimi Rashid. He said, what is the contribution of poor salary package in most firms to unethical practice? So I believe you understand that question.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Yeah, it's the truth. Is the truth that the person is saying, and it's the right time. Most of the things. The last slide is that we have to rethink. Peter also said that. Peter, which is a great business consultant, said that it is the utmost responsibility of this generation to rethink our institutions. You see, unfortunately, in our part of the world, we are too small. We are too small. We are fragmented. You see, essence of yours and valuer or relative farm in developed economy, you see their staff list, they will be running to 1,000. You see law firm, you see their staff list running into 4,000, occupying 4-story, 12-story building in the center of London, in the center of Birmingham, in the center of New York. But we are too small. We operate in silos. Because we are too small, we embark upon small projects. And once we embark upon small projects, there was a time many years back when I was still involved in inspecting our students who are on IT. There was a time I visited one of my students in a shop behind the Alade Market. I traced the address, and it was pointing to one shop behind Alade Market, not even in front of Alade Market, behind Alade Market at Ikeja. And I got to this small shop that was partitioned into 2, like a pool house. And I saw I saw the young man reading Bible. He said, is it a deliverance shop or a service follower shop? And I asked for my students who has come for IT. He said he sent him to go and buy food. Sent to go and buy food. He was reading Bible. And I said, do you do essay valuation job in this company? And he told me, well, he said, yeah, they did one about 3 months ago. And they brought the report out. He said one poultry in this Ogunde's town in near Ijebu-Ode. He said he did poultry. He brought the report. How many birds in the poultry? Less than 500 birds with two. So he said this evaluation you did. So this is what, you see, when you, and I kept on asking, why should this person leave, or why can't this person work with a bigger firm? So we are very, very, very small. And because we are very, very small, our operation is small and our payment is small. So as long as we are still operating small, me and co and my family and son, not only in essence of me, in construction industry, as long as we remain very small, we are and wife and children, like in churches in Nigeria today, as long as we remain me and my so and co, and that co is not outsider, is your family member, that is that co, Nubi and co, and the co is my son. We are myself and my wife that are selling the check. We can't take on big projects, and we can't pay. Whoever work with us is working his aptitude, and he will also leave our company to replicate what he has learned. Also a small shop divided into two. So it's right time. You know, we've been talking about mergers of companies. Because when we were in real estate school in the 80s, there were names we thought were one person. We were hearing names like Shote Daudu. We thought it's one person. It was long after we found out that when they parted their way that we knew that they were not one person. So if we want to, we have to consciously come together and become big. Once we become big, we'll be able to take upon big projects, and we'll be able to. How do we do it? We've seen Ubosele, they've done it. We've seen the Fatim Lane, they've done it. So let us see more organization, more small essay surveying firm coming together to become big firm, so that they can have operations all over the country. They can do federal government job. They can do World Bank job. If we are doing that, we will not pay small wage. I think that's the solution, because you can't pay more than what you are earning. You can't pay more than what you are earning. So
thank you so much.
And
sir.
then remember the fact that you are not unethical because of your poor salary. You are unethical because you are a thief. You don't steal because you are poor. Our parents were poorer. Yeah, they didn't steal. Many of us grew up in one room with 6 children. Yet our parents did not steal. So we embark upon unethical, and I'm saying that unethical practice will sink. I have only been an associate. By the time I became the essay surveyor, by the time I became the HOD of University of Lagos, the essay surveyor I left there ruined the company. I had 4 cars with official logo, everything that they were using. But where are those young guys that destroyed the company today? They are beggars. So because of poor salary does not mean that we should embark. They rented the house out, and they did not declare the money. I was in University of Lagos building the department. One of the tenants now called me. He said, we are tenants in so I said, no, we have not rented the place. He said, we paid about 4 months ago. But where are they today? Where are they today? They were relieved of their job. By the time I sent my wife to go and arrest them, my wife asked the police to release them. And I was asking my wife, why should you ask them to? He said, if you have gone yourself, you will not have even allowed the police to arrest them. Because the young man went outside and took the clothes from the line to wear it, to follow them. From where he was, we washed and spread it outside. He said, I will not have arrested him. And this is a young man who has every opportunity to become somebody, but because he's a thief, he ruined his career and ruined his life. So if an organization is not paying you well, please leave the place rather than to embark on unethical practice and ruin the organization.
Thank you so much, sir. You are really out for all the professionals today. So our time is fast spent, but we just want to take like 5 minutes. We're sorry, our participants, to just answer the few questions. Will be very fast so that we can leave here at
ask all together.
Okay, so I'll ask everything at the same time. So someone said ethics cannot thrive without accountability. Yet
Yes.
in Nigeria property sector, misconduct often goes unpunished. What
Yes.
structural reforms will you recommend to ensure ethical breaches and identified, reported and sanctioned effectively? So, and Victoria from Lawal, Isa and Associate said, I want to appreciate both Ubosi Ele and Co and our Prof for these timely lectures and teaching. Mine is contribution. So let me just do that. I want to say that the place of ethics cannot be overemphasized in our profession. It is only yardstick that guide our honest and transparent practice to bring honor in the profession and also encourage others to follow the right path. Again, to be ethical has to do with an individual who is morally ethical, and then it comes easy for such person. Thank you very much. I think that's what Prof has been emphasizing. So we also have this from Anonymous, said, Prof, sir, in today's economy where inflation and high interest rates are squeezing margins, many real estate professionals justify cutting ethical corners as business. How can the industry realistically balance survival with maintaining integrity? The last one is from Estate Surveyor Ola Shekoni. Thank you very much, sir. You are absolutely right about the issue of non-professionals engaging in real estate practices. I also strongly advocate that NAIF should take proactive steps to train and regulate them to prevent further damage to the integrity of our profession. Thank you once again, Prof. Nubi. I'm proud to say I was one of your students at the University of Lagos, class of 2015. So most of these were just kind of contributions. Yes, but there was a question there, I think.
On the lack of consequences. Yes, but I just want to say this as a closing remark. You see, probably now I want to put on the garment of a pastor. You see, there was a time David was really complaining. He said, the wicked were prospering. He said, they don't have imagination of God in their thinking. They even asked God, does God see? He said he was really worried about the prosperity of the wicked. But you see, Asa replied him, he said, fret not at the prosperity of the wicked. He said, their feet is put on slippery paths. He said, you search for the wicked. He said, I search for the wicked, those who were reigning at the time. I searched for the wicked. I did not see them. I want to encourage as many that are listening to me that don't give any reason for cutting corner. Don't give any reason for cutting corner. I've seen several examples of those who lived by cutting corner. They didn't end well. As a young town planner in Ajaokuta, I saw the master plan of Ajaokuta. It was designed by Hydrosurface, a Brazilian company, and I found out that it was not compatible to African design. I made my comment, and we sent it back to them. The minister came to Ajaokuta that time, and because we are waiting the redesign, so we couldn't allocate land to those who were asking for land. And the minister now came. They told the minister. The minister boasted, I was lecturer at University of Ife. At the end of the year, no kobo in my account, but today I have millions in my account. He now called us out because they told him that we want to build a hospital. These people are saying, wait, they were revising the master plan. And he said, who are the town planners? He called us out. Where are the town planners? What is master plan? There are people to develop this land. Give them, call us thief. Openly disgrace us. That we should go and allocate land. We don't need to follow any which master plan. There's land, plenty land, and people are ready to build. And you are saying they should wait for master plan to be revised. Well, these are unethical practices. But shortly after, if many of us, we might be young, we might not know him, Ali Mankele is late now. About 5 years after, or 10 years after, my Oga was posted back. We were posted back to Lagos. My Oga was in Shagari Estate office. This man just came in one day, and my Oga recognized him. He stood up to greet him. He said, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. And I said, you know me? He said, yes, you are former minister of steel. Ah. He said, oh. He said, when you were minister, we were the town planner at Ajaokuta then. Oh. He said, you know, we went on exile. We spent all the money we have on exile. We just come back. He came to sell the wife 2-bedroom apartment, Shagari Estate. Then he was selling for 2 million. He said, we also want to sell this property to start life all over. I can give several examples. Several. Is it in this lecturing job? Those who are unethical in their practice, taking money from students, sleeping with students, where are they today? Where are they? In every sphere of life, once you don't embrace ethics, when you don't embrace ethics, high ethical standard, you can be celebrated today. You can appear as if you are using the big wagon today. It appears that your children are doing well today. But David said, don't fret. He said, they are placed on slippery paths. It can last. And like I started with, we on this platform, we are critical to our national development. We are handling real estate, which is key to our national development. We can't afford to fail this country. And watch that man who is ethical in his practice. They are watching you. It might appear things are hard today, but people will, over the time, people believe in you, people will patronize you, people will refer you. Real estate is on referral. Once you do good work for someone, they will bring other people. Because people have gotten their fingers burnt. They were looking for sincere people to do business with. Because as long as the art remains, people will always need our product. In terms of houses, shops, hospitals, they still need our product. We can never be out of market. The whole nation is waiting on us. We need our product. We can never be relevant in this country. Essence of yours and value. You just set yourself, set your organization on that sound footing among yourself. Ensure ethical standard. And I want to say this in closing too. I want to say this. Many years back, concerning poor salary, as many employers that are listening to me, pay good salary to your staff. Pay good salary to your staff. If you can afford it, pay good salary to your staff. You see, when Baba Mizuruke was our president, I read it one night in Naif's journal, and I will never forget his president's remark. In every journal of Naif's, the president have corner. In his remark, he said that day, he said, yeah, the book says that professional practice, professional fee, let's say it's 10%. You sell property for someone, you collected 10%. But if someone sold for you, your colleague sold for you, and the rule says that it's 2.5% that you should give him because he didn't have direct instruction. He said that in that article that I read, he said, you don't need to adhere to 2.5% if giving that person 5%, 4% will make the person happy. He said, go ahead and do it. Don't stick to books. I'm saying that we don't need to look around and say, so and co is paying 30,000, so and co is paying 50,000. So I'm the one that is doing. If you can do better, please do better. If you can pay better, pay better. Don't pay a monkey salary for baboon's work, or what is it? Monkey they work, baboon they show. These are complaints these are murmurings that I say, oh, their children are in overseas, they are going to, they are even the one that you are sending to bank to transfer money to your child overseas, $10 million, $20 million at this exchange rate, and they are not collecting 50,000, 150,000, 200,000. They are disgruntled. They believe that life is not fair to them, so there is no reason why they should be fair. So let us pay good salary. It is in this country that salary is not regulated. All over the world, salary is regulated. There is minimum wage you can pay workers. So I think that is the beginning of ethical standard. That is being a good shark in the ecosystem of real estate that we are talking about. So pay good salary, and everybody will be happy. The company will grow. The practice will become more robust, and we'll have a better nation. And the last question, which I think I don't want to have not mentioned, is the consequence. When there is no consequence for unethical practices, it fosters. And we can see this in our country. People who are caught stealing money, keep it in their cap, on camera, put it in their pocket, put it in their cap, and they still return to the National Assembly, and they are still making law for us. So what can you do? We should not be like that. We are a noble profession. So, and I said earlier, no company should be too big to be sanctioned, no matter how long you have been in practice. If the association should trace sharp practices to you in your behavior, in your conduct of this practice, you should not be above the law. There must be consequence. As long as there is consequence for people, then sharp practices will be minimized. I think I can sign out with that. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. Even as we bring this webinar to a close, we want to thank you for your patience, for waiting behind. And on behalf of all of us from Ubosele and Co., we want to say a big thank you to our speakers today, Professor Nubi. Thank you so much for a great presentation. Thank you for all the words that you have given to us. And I believe that we are going to go away from here to be the shark, and also to change our ways, because you have said to us from the quote that we cannot continue to do the same thing and then expect a different result. Thank you. We want to appreciate you. The presentation was up to date and up to the mark. So we say a big thank you to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. And to our participants, thank you so much. Please, if you did not register for this webinar and we don't have your email, kindly share your email so that we can share with you the recording so that you can go through it, because there's a lot of learning. And we want to say a big thank you to you for your patience, for waiting behind, for your attention, your contribution. Thank you so much. And we also say that you should look forward to our next edition, which is going to be towards the end of November by the grace of God. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. God bless you. Bye. My name is Mojisola Ogunkoya. Thank you. Bye. you.